Basking in the golden light of the sun, we've had a lot of fun within the Shining Kingdom, and though I covered the initial story of Varlamore of everything we knew at the time in a video I released last year, it's worth taking a look at what lore we've discovered since we've been here. The only lore I won't cover is the Perilous Moons lore, as I've got a dedicated video for that I'll link in the description. So let's not delay, and let's take a peek within the Shining Kingdom of Varlamore. Before the region was named Varlamore, the first inhabitants are thought to have been an ancient race known as the Old Ones. The same folk who caused the whole Stranglewood issue, but it's worth to note that they were also strong worshippers of Ralos and Renewal. Varlamore's true origins can be pinpointed during a period of time known as the Age of Strife. Something that started when our old pal Xeric took control of Great Kurend. Now, as you can imagine, a lot of people didn't like that, and there were enough dissatisfied citizens that large groups packed their belongings and fled south, over the previously unexplored Custodia Mountains. These refugees can be distinguished into three separate groups: the Mkando Dwarves, the Telcasti, and the Pericans. The Mkando were the first to flee, and founded Camturum, an underground city beneath Ralos' rise, where the Moons of Peril can be found imprisoned. The Telcasti settled in the Talati rainforest, before eventually founding the permanent settlement of Tal Teclin. And the Pericans founded the town of Fortis, which eventually became known as Civitas Illa Fortis, when the three groups all decided to band together and form the Kingdom of Varlamore. Due to the intermingling of the Pericans and the Telcasti, their population numbers skyrocketed, so much so that within 100 years of Fortis being built, they had to consider building another city to combat the population problem, with the city of Tempestus being decided upon. This was only after they had unified once again to slay the Cloud Titan, a monstrous being that made the land unsafe with its presence. Though the Shining Kingdom was great, with untold bounties and riches to be made from the fertile land, it came with its own fair share of dangers. Weather demons, the Cloud Titan, which, yeah, turns out he didn't actually get killed in the initial attack, and of course, the Colossal Worm, or should I say the glorified future agility course. All these monsters were slain with the help of a hero from the Hesidius house who had escaped Great Kurend to remove himself from the War of the Five Houses, as he refused to slay people and only wanted to slay monsters. We even find out extra information of what happened after the War of Betrayal, an event that I go into deeper detail in my previous Varlamore video, but to briefly summarise, the War of Betrayal happened when Emperor Immerfor Tullus ascended to the throne. Though his moves of turning the kingdom into an empire was met with mixed reactions, no one did anything crazy. That was until Immerfor went crazy himself. As part of his 30th birthday celebration, he invited the Kurend royal family to Varlamore, giving them a tour around the empire, before promptly poisoning them at a feast that, of course, Kurend retaliated with war. So not the brightest guy in the world, I wouldn't say. Unfortunately though, as far as Varlamore Part 1 is concerned, we still don't know why he did what he did. And that's the thing, no one does know. It's a secret he took to his grave, of which his death came at the hands of his cousin, who was a freedom fighter against him. Mezper Arkan, who killed Immerfor, didn't order for the statues of Immerfor to be torn down. No, instead he instructed for all the statues to be beheaded, to serve as a warning to anyone of thinking going down the same crazy route that the old Emperor went down. But with this, the Arkan dynasty began, the one of the Sun King, and his descendants still ruled to this day, with Queen Arkan being the current ruler. Civitas Illa Fortis, if I'm saying that right, is the capital of Varlamore, or just known as Fortis when it was initially founded around 900 years ago. The name is translated from Latin into the Mighty City, and the Mighty City it is, boasting untold secrets and mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Within the city, we have numerous locations that are really interesting: the Sunrise Palace, the Grand Museum, the Fortis Colosseum, and the Fortis Kothon as well. The Colosseum, much like the real-life Colosseum, is a large stadium in which we face numerous waves of enemies in order to gain not only glory, echo crystals, or Sunfire Fanatic armour, but also the fabled Dishonors Quiver. Funnily enough, there was no Colosseum originally, but instead a great temple where convicts were sacrificed in the name of Ralos. This all changed when King Maximus Tullus ascended the throne and ordered the temple to be destroyed, stating how there would be no longer any tolerance on human sacrifices, that instead a Colosseum should be built, where warriors would gather to battle for glory, and that the blood spilt by these brave souls would be the offering to Ralos. So, like human sacrifice, but willing and with more steps, so sure, just give me that quiver. And who sits at the highest seat of the Colosseum? Sol Herodith, of course, though we don't actually have that much information of who or what he is. Some type of automaton that's powered through sun magic, I guess? Another worthwhile mention is the Grand Museum, which provides us with a lot of information and offers displays of historical artifacts and figures from Varlamore's history. Notable mentions are some heroes from bygone ages: Atalzora, Taor, Dazana, Zena, Marhowitz, and Quautlos. I'm really sorry if I'm saying these wrong. But there's even relics related to Losanium, such as the icon of Ralos and Ralos' supposed crown. There's even a quiver here. If only we could perform some type of heist, but oh well, it's probably just a replica anyway. There should be a Tempestus model as well, but it's a way to be cleaned, so very clever, Jagex. Not wanting to give us any hint. Well, don't worry. That's why we have this website to find out what it actually looks like. The last few things I'd like to mention are two stone columns. One depicting the story of Immerthor's betrayal, and the other depicting the history of Kourend. There's likely more that will be added as we spend time in Kourend, especially since we delve into uncharted territory with Perilous Moons. Losanium is the official name given to the religion of Ralos and Renewal, and was initially practiced in secret by the Telcasti within the Forthos dungeon, though once they were free from the shackles of Kourend, they could practice this religion openly, with Pericans adopting the religion as well, causing the two groups to come together and rapidly expand their populations and civilizations. Though the belief that Losanium does encompass worship of both Ralos and Renewal, the term itself is rarely used, as hardly any believers dedicate themselves to both gods, usually only choosing one. Ralos is the god of the sun, as you've probably heard already, though it's generally believed that he was born from a giant burst of light before the world began, which is handy, I guess. But I would also put doubt in the belief that Guthix was the first god on Gielinor, but that's just a theory for another time. Followers of Ralos tend to be quite positive and lead generally positive lives, with the Tome of the Sun stating how their tenets include being bold and honest, living life to their fullest, and striving to work against those who would bring negativity to others. Notable followers are the people of Varlamore, of course, and the dwarves of Cam Turum. Renewal, as you can probably guess, is the opposite of Ralos in some regards. Being the god of the moon, he tends to be less popular due to his association of death. As Ralos is believed to have been born from the sun itself, Renewal is said to have been born from the darkness of the night. Followers of Renewal believe that there's only two significant events in a person's life: birth and death, believing that death should be embraced and respected, and that everyone should aim to shape the lives of themselves and those around them in order to have a peaceful death. Renewal has the role of guiding those who have recently departed to the afterlife, or the Gates of Mictil as it's described by Metzli. Though Renewal is the god of the moon, he is also seen as the god of learning and knowledge, thus having philosophers and academics follow his teachings, that of bringing light to darkness and uncovering the mysteries of the world, but to more importantly withhold knowledge that would cause harm to other people. Though these seem to be counters to each other, it's important to note that neither church sees each other as troublesome. No conflicts currently exist as they see and recognise the importance of each other, which does of course mean that there are areas that overlap in beliefs. One such belief is Zymoa, which refers to the continuous cycle of destruction and rebirth of the world, which is a belief passed down from the old ones. And finally, it's worth mentioning an offshoot of the religion, a group known as the Twilight Emissaries, who have their own readings of the teachings, their own interpretations if you want to call it that aren't exactly approved by the Church of Ralos or the Sect of Renewal. One such belief is that of the Final Dawn, or the Saktorli, which is a twist on the Zymoa belief. This twisted belief teaches that followers must actively attempt to bring about the end of the world, so not exactly great. Sentient frogs. That's right, you heard me correctly. Sentient frogs. The surprise quest of the riveting tale of a lily pad labour dispute was a welcome addition to the quest list, and honestly, was a fun little quest that took your mind away from the perilous moons and assassination plots. Though the hardwood patch is a welcome addition on the way to 99 farming, the quest was really interesting in that it allowed us to peer into the life of beings that we don't really pay attention to. And if frogs can be sentient, and even hold political elections, if you can call it that, then what other creatures can do that? Before we know it, there may even be a Penguin Cold War level of espionage, but with frogs instead. And finally, these red tokens. Like, come on, what the f***? I've been following this mystery as it's been unravelling, and currently it's at a standstill. Obviously it's an Easter egg hunt that the devs have left in, but damn, this one is driving me crazy. Let me set the scene for you. You get these small red tokens from completing a variety of specific tasks around Varlamore, and which method you can do depends on the length of the characters in your name and what day it is. It just sounds mental, doesn't it? 2 of the activities are unknown as of the making of this video, but others include killing a buffalo while wearing gloves, digging in a specific spot in Varlamore, pickpocketing a female citizen in a specific house on a specific tile, fishing for bream and breaking down blessed backbones. This one probably is going to take a super long time, and honestly, I'm surprised we've even found what we found considering how obscure this is. One of the biggest finds is that if you wear 1 or 2 of the required items for an easy emote clue and yawn in the Grand Museum, the collector appears with a special dialogue for the tokens, reacting to it if you have at least 1. This guy just shows up and starts going on about the idea of something nice and refers to the tokens, and just states that you need more. Well, if we really want to focus on the word nice, there is another item that was added when Varlamore came out. A nice key. Though it's not really known on how to obtain the item at all, but it's got something to do with the tokens. I just know it. Thank you guys for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. If there's anything else you want me to cover, then just let me know, but I do have a lot of projects in the pipeline, but I'm always happy to hear suggestions or any specific things that you guys want to know. Varlamore Part 1 has been great, and I'm really excited to see what comes with Varlamore Part 2, so thanks for watching, and see you next time.